our conversation has kept you amused, if not bemused. We are going to go with Wolfpack versus Funky Moon for our game one of the evening, and it's going to be on Dragonchild. So let's get that underway, GLP.
All right, looking forward to this one. As I was saying in the previous lobby that we had, this is also another rather good set of teams that we have with us. Funky Moon did very well last week. On stream, they had that really, I guess, ambitious Cho'Gall composition that didn't necessarily work out for them, but they were very strong throughout the rest of the night, and very much expecting them to put up some very strong performances again this night.
Indeed. And straight out of the gate, we see the Maiev banned. Nobody wants to deal with the queen of displacement and irritating tactics.
Yeah, she's just too strong. I was mentioning earlier that there are some possibilities starting to pop up here and there about ways to deal with her, but it's just easy just to not let her go through.
Yeah, I agree. She does too much damage. Well, not too much. She does a lot of damage, and her ability just to pull people around, lock them down with that Warden's Cage, it's rubbish. It's absolutely rubbish. I think she's an amazing champion, but she's going to be banned for a long, long time.
Yeah, until there are either more ways to deal with her or she gets another nerf, we'll probably be seeing her banned out quite frequently.
And we see Wolfpack there, GLP, dropping the ban hammer on the Thrall. Do not want to deal with Crash Lightning.
Yeah, that's actually really bad right now, and it's really annoying to deal with. If you're going to be going into a game where you're expecting to go towards the later game, where you're expecting Crash Lightning to actually hit that level 20 or hit that 20 mark where it starts to get really, really powerful. Well, it already gets powerful before that, but it starts to get smart, I guess, one way to put it. It really starts to stack up in these very extended engages, and you just don't want to deal with that.
The poke, once you get those 20 stacks, it just prioritizes heroes. It does a lot of damage on a very short cooldown. And looking at the Funky Moon guys, they pick up the fan favorite. So we got the Firebat, ladies and gents.
Oh yeah, get the blades right at the start. It doesn't really give anything away. Not very frequently, but it can be put in as that main tank. But more often than not, he will be utilized in that solo lane. He will be able to pretty much mitigate any hero that's put up against him. He doesn't necessarily win every lane. He can get bullied around by some specific matchups, but he is very capable of just clearing waves for days and is not allowing too much pressure to go against him.
His wave clear is certainly quite valued, especially as a solo laner. He can just hit everything at once, and the self-sustain is, again, I'll use my favorite term of the month, actually, is rubbish. He's rubbish good at keeping himself up and getting out of jail free with his little jet propulsion away or the engage. So let's have a look at what Wolfpack have picked up. We see the Malf and the Hanzo GLP.
Yeah, so the Malfurion, was mentioned it before, very high prioritized support. He still has that whole bag of tricks that he can work with and brings so much sustain. And I was talking about extended team fights. His healing over the course of a long extended engagement is just way above most other heroes, that it's just almost not fair with how much he can do.
Yeah, he's sort of like Lucio is like Malfurion. Malfurion's kind of like Malfurion, GLP.
Yeah, I mean, kinda.
Lucio is very similar in that respect, that the longer and more drawn out a fight goes, the more in favor of that healer it's going to be. So versus a Stukov, for example, that we now see picked up for Funky Moon, I'm pretty sure a Malfurion can out-sustain heal a Stukov.
Yeah, to be honest, both of these supports have some pretty damn good healing output. As the game goes on, the Stukov can really pump out those numbers with one good spread at level 4, and especially when you have those very clumped up circumstances where you are consistently getting that proc of the one good spread, his healing numbers really start to ramp up. And as we get later and later into the game, we start to get more talents into the pathogens. He can arguably match some of the healing that Malfurion can bring, but it's not as easy to come by because you're kind of relying on that bio kill switch. But he also brings arguably one of the most annoying things to deal with, and that's the lurking arm.
And do you think that lurking arm build is what we're going to see on Stukov in Dragonchild?
It's just such a consistent build that it's hard to really pass it up. I mean, there are some arguments to go towards the weighted pustule, going for the weight apostle at 1 and the range at 7 to kind of like snipe people and really allow some engage potential, which actually wouldn't be too bad considering you've got an ETC and a Blaze alongside it. But the lurking arm it's still lurking arm and it's still very good.
Oh, absolutely. There's no denying the ability for Lurking Arm to completely change a fight, especially with an ETC power slide into it, and then a Blaze jet propulsion into that, and then you're still sitting on top of a Lurking Arm, and you can't do a damn thing about it.
Yeah, so the side of Funky Moon, they have a incredibly solid front line with the Blaze and the ETC, with that Stukov healing them up, and they have a lot of flexibility with how they want the rest of this draft to go, and they can be very reactive to what Wolfpack have got. Are going to be pulling out against them. So I really like where they started out this draft. I'm just looking to see where Wolfpack decide to go with their front line.
GLP, I think this is some very smart drafting from Funky Moon right now, and I'll tell you why. The Tyrael ban, they've obviously already picked their Malfurion, so they're not going to be going through an Uther with D-Shields, and they're effectively, by banning Tyrael, they removed Greymane from being a very viable selection, especially with a Malf as a healer. There's not going to be any protection for him. There's no Sanct. There's no D-Shield. So you're kind of banning 2 heroes with one swing of the sword there, I feel.
Interesting. So on the side of Wolfpack, we had the Tychus and the Leoric, so we're still waiting on their main tank. But they've got a lot of their roles filled out, whereas we're finally seeing the damage coming in for the side of Funky Moon, the Chromie and the Tracer. So there's a lot of burst damage at their disposal into this game.
And I think you have hit that nail on the proverbial head there, GLP. They are looking for a blow-up comp. They're going to get Silence into a jet propulsion stun, potentially into a power slide, into a big old sandblast and combo from Chromie, and then Tracer to come along, melee, pulse bomb, quantum spike, dead. And that's pretty much going to be the way it's going to go down for anybody caught out, I think, even a Leo or even a potential Dibbles if we see him, or another tank.
Yeah, most heroes are going to die to a very concerted 5-man pick off, and it is going to be that Diablo, so having those tools too. I feel as though that is still a very good pick for them to go for, especially when you're looking at things like the Chrome and the Tracer, who you need to be able to get onto and to lock down and to kill before they have any opportunity of getting away. So I do like the Diablo pick, but as you mentioned, like with the Chromie Tracer and also Blaze ETC, there's enough lockdown and damage that they can, if they play it well enough, they can get those pickoffs.
Indeed, you are right, GLP, and we're going to be going into our loading screen, and we can talk a little bit about the solo lane matchup between Leoric and Blaze. Now, I haven't got, no, this is not a good thing to admit, but I haven't got much experience looking at a Leo v Blaze. How does that matchup go, GLP? I want to lean on your experience here, buddy.
Well, as I was mentioning before, Blaze can just like clear waves for days, essentially. But if he does stick around and the Leoric does manage to get the Drain Hope, he can kind of suffer a little bit. But he's okay to just sit in the fire. He'll get most of his health back and just clear waves, and then force the Leoric to essentially lane against minions. So it's very much down to how it's going to be played out. But it's just about who has the better wave clear at the end of the day.
Well, we know who's going to have the good tank shredding power, and that's going to be our mate Tychus there.
Oh, yeah.
As, ladies and gentlemen, we get underway. Take it away, GLP.
All right, on the blue side, we have the Wolfpack. We have Olgi on the Leoric. We have Tanner on Diablo, Helium on Malfurion, Tegiza on Hanzo, and Jester is going to be on the Tychus.
Nice. And in the red corner, we have got the funkiest of moons, ladies and gents, with Sukra on the Stukov, Stump God on Tracer, Electro Games on Chromie, Pell on the Blaze, and Botsilic on ETC.
Let the battle begin.
Let's get this one on the road.
All right. And one thing to mention, Jack, on Electro Games is one of those dirty Chromie pickers that we do love to hate from time to time. Just wanted to mention that one just quickly. Because Chromie, she can be a very polarizing kind of hero. Either you like playing it, or you just, it's like you love her, or you just despise the ever-living hell out of her.
Oh, I completely agree. I've been caught way too many times myself by a cheeky Chromie combo and getting blown up, so not a fan. And looking at these rotations, we see Blaze going top all by his onesies, with Leo still hanging out in the middle with Dibbles for some unknown reason there, GL. And Electro just trying to stack up those Q quests nice and early with the sharp rotations coming out of Funky Moon.
Yeah, already, as you mentioned, there was just the attempt for something, or I guess it looked like LJ was just looking for something to happen, but because of the 4-man from the side of Funky Moon, they just were not able to get any room to actually get anything to happen. So just going back to standard 4-man rotation between mid and bot for Funky Moon, while it looks like it's going to be like a 3-1-1 coming out from Wolfpack just for this first part.
Yeah, I think it looks like they're trying to get the stacks up on the Diablo to try and give him some of that charge. Gonna have a bit of an invade here from Funky Moon on the siege camp. ETC gets flipped, but he's just gonna walk on out. No, Malfurions. Oh, power slide across onto the Malfurion. Helium very, very low. Stumpy takes him down. We got
Very well done there.
A little bit of a disengage happening now. That was well played there by Funky Moon.
Yeah, and Silic very much aware of the amount of damage that he could take, and very much trusting the rest of the team was going to be able to get there in time to help him out, and they did very well at that. As Gaze actually goes in, and it looks like he's all of a sudden found a team.
Look out, Giza nearly getting cracked by that Stump God there, but also Stumpy likewise. Tanner going in with the Diablo. He is going to fall. Jester trying to come in to save. Going to get chunked by the Chromie Sandblast, and another disengage there. That was some interesting little fights there, giving Funky Moon a bit of an experience lead this early on, GLP.
Yeah, the kills do go in favor of Funky Moon. They did end up giving up the camp in the end. It was a little bit ambitious to think that you could get something like that so early on when there's not really much of an advantage being gathered so far, but still applying a little bit of pressure on that bottom side of the map is allowing Funky Moon to get some plays happening. But now that both of the beacons are up, we're going to start getting into that macro style play, but in the mid lane, Tanner actually goes down to the concerted efforts of the ETC and the Tracer.
Yeah, some very smart play there by Silicon Stumpy again while trying to defend that Dragon Shrine in the middle. Now, Silic moving his way down, trapping the Helium there with his power slide. Chromie deletes Hanzo. Good night, sweet prince. Helium also falling. Funky Moon, 5 kills to nothing in 3 minutes, ladies and gentlemen.
That's a brilliant couple of kills for them there, and it also gives them pretty much complete control over this bottom side of the map, and it's requiring the Wolfpack to at least have some control on the top side. They do have it for now, but with how things are playing out, Pell is now starting to work towards that top shrine and forcing this Leoric to make a play around that. But meanwhile in the mid lane, Stumpgod and Jester both going very low.
Stump God getting out by the skin of the teeth there with a cheeky recall and a parting gift, and Tanner was poised, ready to chom dom dom down on that little Stumpy, but sneaks away.
Yeah, and we're already seeing a full 1-level lead in favor of the Funky Moon, and now that it's talent tiers, Wolfpack have to be a little bit more careful, and they just need to get some experience under their belt. They're trying to play the objectives a little bit too much, and they're just not really prioritizing experience all that much, and it's really starting to catch up to them.
Absolutely. And we're looking at another little engage, or a cheeky trap set by Stumpy, trying to take out Tanner on that Diablo, but not happening. We're getting the rotation back down to bot lane from Funky Moon. Silic looking for a slide on the Tychus. He gets it. Jester gets the pulse bomb, goes down behind the gates. Well played there, Funky Moon.
Yeah, and that's essentially what we were expecting coming, or as we're ending off this draft, is that with the amount of burst damage coming out of this lineup from Funky Moon, you don't really need to be locked down all that much. Yes, they have a lot at their disposal with the ETC, the Blaze, and also the Stukov, but you only really need one of those to really set up all the damage coming out from the Chromie and the Tracer, and it's more than enough at this point in the game to really secure those kills.
With the Pulse Bomb, it is absolutely easy enough, and a Chromie QW combo, people are going to get deleted. And that Tychus certainly felt the wrath of Funky Moon just then.
Yeah, and until he gets to level 10 and most likely will be picking up the Thor, he won't have that extra armor to really cut down a lot of that damage coming out from the Chromie and the Tracer.
No, we see Pell going in. Silk tried to rotate up the top there to take out the Leoric GLP. Cheeky little play trying to secure that top shrine, which they've managed to do, but in the process, they've lost bot to a concerted effort. Electro Games is going to fall to Jester and Diablo with a good little trap there, and a root coming out from Helium on the mouth.
Yeah, just a little bit over-aggressive, just not really respecting the fact that there were 4 people from the side of Wolfpack down on that, in that area of the map, got locked down. There was no way out for that poor little Chromie, so that's going to be a nice little kill and a flip of the point over to Wolfpack, and now it's forcing some movement up to the top side of the map. There's somebody who's actually doing a lot of damage to this Leoric.
Dumpy. Oh, no good. All G gets away with a breath of health right there from Stumpy. We see the pulse bomb used and the triple tracer blinks occurring.
Yeah, but throughout all of this, we're getting very much closer to level 10 for the side of Funky Moon, as Aldridge just actually goes down to Pell on that top side. So after the amount of damage he took, he didn't actually go out. And actually in the bottom side, we had Together taking so much damage, gets demolished by the combo. And this is level 10 on both sides.
Oh, Stumpy gets away again with a sliver there, GL. Silic going in on the Tanner. Sukara trying to put in that melee damage, putting a root down on the Malfurion. Chromie trying to pepper the Malfurion. Silic in a little bit of trouble here. Nope, Tanner slows down, tables are turning on Funky Moon here. Mosh pit, 3-man, wow! Dibbles goes down, Helium!
That Sandblast was just a fraction of him getting another kill. It was a great mosh pit, but the fact that it was only the Chromie there at the time and wasn't really, didn't have a combo ready to follow up on that, it could have been a lot worse for the side of Wolfpack. They should be able to at least get to level 10 without losing too much at this point, but still, they are just bleeding out experience and advantages throughout the map. And on the bottom side, still taking a lot of damage from this Typhus.
Oh, just everyone's putting out so much damage right now. Jester putting on damage on the Silic from that Tychus, and Chromie putting out damage on the Hanzo. He is not safe in that back line at the moment. And just going back to that 3-man mosh pit, with Tracer being pushed away by Wolfpack, there was no follow-up there, GL, so very interesting.
Speaking of follow-up.
Oh, time loop.
Ooh.
Nope. Nearly.
He did actually get interrupted by the Dragon's Arrow, so he wasn't able to get the full combo out of there. And also the Odin is going to get popped, so that is going to be a big cooldown to not have coming into these next fights. It just takes so much damage and gets it cleaned up.
Odin gets popped there by Botsilic after Electro has just unloaded a complete salvo all over that mech and goes down in a blaze of explosions.
Yeah, we're just seeing, I guess the just 3v3 on this bottom side is just doing so much better on the side of Funky Moon. They just got so much more tools to work with because of Chromie's ability to just get those talents so much sooner. It's still like he's actually looking to get another kill onto Giza, and he does put him on the wall, but that is just too much damage.
Good night, Hanzo. The Chromie damage was too much there coming out from Electro, who is actually sitting on 48 stacks already. So 8 minutes in and 48 stacks, and we're seeing 12 kills to Funky Moon with a 2-level lead, GL.
Yeah, but the one good thing I guess we can say for Wolfpack is that they haven't given up a Dragon Knight yet. The way things have been going, it's probably just a matter of time as I say that, Leoric goes down yet again to the rotation from Stump God, who's been doing an incredible job this game of just rotating around the map and just cleaning up people left and right.
Electro and Silic there taking out the Tychus with a well-timed power slide into a Chromie combo and exploding him, so he's out for another 20-odd seconds. They pick up the DK on Funky Moon, so you mentioned that Wolfpack have been sort of denying that DK for how long, but at what cost there, GL? Now nearly 3 levels down and 13 kills.
Yeah, at this point, we're probably going to see that experience lead just explode. The Dragon Knight is going to be very well defended by the rest of the members of Funky Moon. There's not really a hell of a lot that can be done from the side of as they do actually go for an engage, but don't actually get the full lockdown.
I mean, Diablo missed the APOC there. We see the bunker come down, but ETC falls. 2 Jesters, high damage. Malfurion copying the Dragon Knight's Fury at the back there, and Leoric's just gonna walk away. Oh, Electro goes down on the Chromie from the Hanzo damage. Giza pumping it out right now, GL.
Yeah, they're doing a very good job. I mentioned that they didn't actually get the lockdown, but they just blast down the front line, and that just left all of those damage dealers, or I guess that back line, just very vulnerable and just didn't have the tools necessary to deal with it. And because we've got Tracer in the Dragon Knight, that's a lot of the consistent damage that we've been seeing just not there. I believe that was just the Dragon Kick just finishing off the Hanzo. So they do get one in the end, and they're going to be maintaining this experience lead, but that's probably about as good as you're going to get from a defense on the side of Wolfpack, considering what they had going into it.
Wolfpack have certainly done a good round of defense there, with Funky Moon seeming a little bit out of sorts. Hang on a second, we've got Stump God trying to go in on Jester and Tanner. Pulse bomb's out. Stump God gets away, fortunately. Silic coming in with a power slide. He's going to go for a mosh nearly. Tempora Loop coming out on the Tychus, doesn't get exploded.
Ooh.
Dragon Arrow comes out, hitting 3 members. Tracer goes down. Chromie likely to fall here as Diablo is blocking her way. The disengage. Wow, the disengage from Stukov was real. Tanner's still trying to get himself onto that Chromie. Oh, look at the lockdown there. Stukov gets deleted.
Yeah, and that's one thing we're starting to see in this lineup from the side of Funky Moon is that, yes, they have a lot of tools to work with when it comes to just lockdown and damage, but they are very squishy. The Tracer and the Chromie, they are some of the squishiest heroes in the game. And once we get that lockdown of that Diablo, there's not much that they can really do with the amount of damage that there's on the side of Wolfpack. You can have the Hanzo just throwing in so much with those scan arrows, the dragon arrows, there's everything. And Tychus just doing so much consistent damage that once they do get that lockdown, they're not really getting out all that easily.
Oh, Giza gets away again with a breath of health there. So does Tychus, with Silic trying to engage on that backline. We see Tanner trying to finish off. Oh, here we go. Oh, ETC comes in for the power slide. Tanner on the Diablo is walking away. Furion goes down in a blaze of glory. Electro Games trying to pepper the backline. Silic takes out the Diablo, who will be back in 3 seconds very quickly.
Oh, wow.
Hanzo! Wow, a triple from Tracer there, finishing off the pack. ETC dives. Leoric goes down as well. This is a 4-man wipe.
That was incredible. I think the biggest part about that was Silic actually interrupting that Twilight Dream, just preventing that from going off, really allowed the Tracer to just wreck all of those members and just playing it so very well, just not allowing Silic to go down. Stumpgod is just putting on a clinic on this Tracer.
Oh, we see Pell get caught up the top there, but drops the bunker immediately, and Jet Propulsion's away. So trying to fight for their life in this game, Wolfpack are at the moment, GL, and it's not looking terribly good for them as we see the second DK of the game going over to Funky Moon. Tracer trying to take out Tychus in that top lane, nearly gets him.
Yeah, this Tracer, Stumpgod, she's playing with a lot of confidence right now, and rightfully so. They have a lot of kills to their name. They've got the experience lead, and they're just going to keep on blowing up people. It didn't actually land there. The combination was just a little bit mistimed, but still, that is just a lot of pressure coming in from the side of Funky Moon, and they're just going to keep on applying it. Electro Games on this Chromie doing a lot of work getting that long-range damage, and the execution that we've been seeing from Stumpgod, the follow-up is just brilliant.
Absolutely. And the guys on Funky Moon are actually looking for this keep right now, and we see the Odin popped. We see Dibbles trying to, gets booted away. Leoric just pinning 3 members down. Well, we're not seeing anyone go down just yet as Leo falls. Whoa. Getting a little bit low. Chromie explodes the Hanzo again. That has been Electro's main mission tonight, hasn't it, GL?
Yeah, and it's been working out pretty damn well for us so far. You can't really complain with the results, especially when it's just doing so much work. This level lead is really coming into effect as they are going to just start backing away. They did get the keep, so that's going to be a constant point of pressure, and they're just going to pull back, try and get to level 20, and then just essentially go for that final blow.
Yeah, they've definitely opened up this game for a very easy win. Now, if they just bring that Dragon Knight back through the middle, they'll be fine. Oh, sorry, we got an engage here. Tanner trying to get away. Chromie's damage is outrageous. Stump God going all over Jester's face. Misses the pulse bomb. Diablo gets away. We see Giza trying to put some damage in, but it's just not enough as Funky Moon just walk away without even a drama. Then go steal some siege camps.
Yeah, they can play this. There's so many ways that Funky Moon can play this out. They can be patient, they can just start shoving pressure right into their face, and it looks like they're just going to go for the lockdown, and there goes Hanzo. He had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, Diablo's going to fall as well to the Chromie pressure. Looks like OG on the Leoric is going to cop some damage. Jester pops the Odin pulse bomb out by the Tracer. Does not hurt at all with that large amount of armor there from Valkyrian.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning earlier on, that Odin is going to be very important for dealing with the amount of pressure coming out from the Tracer and the Chromie. We saw that Odin was used, the Unstoppable, while it's being activated, just completely dissuaded that the time loop, and then the armor, as you mentioned, really cut through a lot of that damage coming in from that pulse bomb. So that is a good tool to use, but at this point, it's just looking like a little bit too little, too late right now.
GL, in the wise words of the old Alterac Valley gods, they are peeling the onion, so to speak, by taking out that bottom fort now as well, bottom keep rather, as well. They just walked up to that with Silic tanking that, and no dramas. 2 members down. Wolfpack can't really defend that.
Yeah, it's very hard, and they have to try and make something happen at this point because they're looking at what Funky Moon have. They have level 20, they have 3 levels, and they're going to have another Dragon Knight, and that's a very open base. Like, they can just walk in and just force a reaction out of the Wolfpack, and they don't have a lot of tools to work with at this point.
GL, they've learned from their mistake of putting Tracer in that DK, and now ETC has taken the charge of the big shielded axed warrior of the DK, and they're marching straight towards Wolfpack's core, and unless something dire happens here, they are going to be taking that core without a fuss.
Yeah, the Dragonite was used to try and get onto that backline, but it just went straight into the Dragonite, got absolutely nothing. Ice Block was used to interrupt the time loop, and they're just going to go in. They do get a good lockdown, but they're not able to finish off Skuro just yet, and that bunker is brilliantly placed.
Oh, Leoric and Hanzo fall in rapid succession there. The bunker value is just too real. Diablo with the Apocalypse does not matter. He goes down. What else have we got? That's a 5-man team, YGL, and that's going to be game. Going over to Funky Moon, putting on a display of not only power, but a lot of skill here with Electra on that Chromie. And Stumpy on that Tracer was just extraordinary.
Yeah, those two really stepped up and put on a lot of, put on a clink in that game, just doing so much work. And as you mentioned, they were just a little bit too strong on the day, just had a lot of tools to work with. And I feel as though those early levels, the rotation from Funky Moon was just a little bit cleaner, and it allowed them to get that little experience advantage, and they were able to play that out really proficiently, and they just exploded that. And once they were able to get to level 10s, they just ran away with that.
I'm thoroughly enthused and impressed to see what Funky Moon can do when they put their mind to this GL. Yeah. Absolutely impressive rotations there. Crisp, clean. 14 kills within the first sort of 4 or 5 minutes of this round. I'm kind of speechless. I mean, Wolfpack are a reasonably good team in the open division, and Funky Moon just walked all over them.
Yeah, they kind of made them look a little bit less of one of those contentious teams, but they are still a very good team, the side of Wolfpack. They have put on a lot of good performance over the course of this open division, but as you mentioned, this lineup on the side of Funky Moon, they want to get to one of those spots to play in that Crucible.
Well, there's really only one team in the open division that's holding that with an iron grip at the moment, and that's the team of Pleb to Pro. So Funky Moon have got a little bit to catch up on after last week's game, but I'm confident after seeing them tonight, GL, my confidence levels have just increased exponentially for Funky Moon. I'm finding myself rooting for them.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head earlier when you said that when this team actually puts their mind to it, because we saw last week, it didn't look like their mind was in it. And sure, the choke goal, we can just brush over that as we'll just let that one.
It was what it was, GL.
Yeah.
So look, I'm impressed by that round, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Funky Moon can bring to the table in future games. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to cut to a short break while we wait for the rest of round 1 to finish up, and we will be back bringing you more ANZ Open Division Week 4 action right here. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.